All right, I believe we're live. Hello, everybody. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth. My name is Ian, and I am your host. Tonight, we are going to be looking at what's going on all around the world, uh, what's going on in the solar system. Oh, and we're going to see what else is going on, but we'll see how it goes. I'm wiped today. I really am. All right, I need to give folks just a few minutes to get in here, and then we will get started. So let's just give it just a minute here. Okay, everybody, hello and welcome. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth, and I've had a crazy day. I've got a lot going on, and I'm surprised I'm even here, to be honest with you, but I am. So there you go. Um, all right, hey Kimberly, thank you for being here. Let's see. I'm giving everybody a few more minutes to get in. That is weird. Uh, if anybody's out there, put a one in the chat room. I don't think I'm on the air. It says I'm broadcasting, but I do not think that I'm on the air. What do you think, Daddy Kitty? You think we're on the air? I don't think we're on the air. There we go. All right. Yes, we're on. Okay, good. Thanks, Heath. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Jingle, Jungle, and Shay 4. Thank you for being here, James. Lots of folks coming in. I appreciate it. Victor had some issues getting online just now. I'm not sure what's going on. But the numbers came up pretty quick, so I think we're okay. But hello, everybody. And Heath, I was going through my car today, and your stickers are still on my dashboard. So I'm going to put them somewhere safe in the car so that they'll be there when I get back up there. All right, let's see here. What else do we got going on? It is a. What do you think, Daddy? What do you got going on? Anything? No, he don't talk much. Okay, so we've got the Northern Lights. We're going to be watching for those again. Some of our farther north locations are seeing some things right now. However, the Aurora Oval not really showing that it's going to be that active. Now, according to spaceweather.com, the latest we've got out of spaceweather.com, which is generally where I get my information from, it says geomagnetic storms are likely tonight. Earth's magnetic field is reverberating from 3 very potent coronal mass ejection strikes in the past 48 hours. This is causing geomagnetic storms and widespread auroras. Currently, storm levels are bouncing between category G1, which is minor, and category G3, which is relatively strong. As solar wind blows around the Earth faster than 700 kilometers per second, NOAA forecasters say there is also a lingering chance of a severe G4 class storm sometime tonight. So there you go. And if you guys haven't done it yet, check out spaceweather.com. They've got a great picture up there of 3 very unique places where the auroras were seen. Florida with the palm trees, Arizona with a cactus tree. I love cactus trees. And El Salvador. Yes, El Salvador. El Salvador at 13 North. I mean, we're talking about like Central America and shit. Okay, very good. All right, Herman, thank you for being here. Boston Red, thank you. And also Billy, thank you for being here tonight. Gator, welcome back. Oh, man. Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's stupid politics, but there's nothing really that I need to get into too much with politics tonight. As you guys know, if it doesn't intersect something else we're doing here, I just try not to do too much politics. All right. Yeah, it says most photos from the Northern Lights have things like igloos and Arctic reindeer and things like that in the foreground. But back on November 11th, just a few days ago, the scenery changed to palm trees and cactus trees and tropical beaches. So they're, like I said, if you want to see those pictures, they're right on the front cover at spaceweather.com. And that's a website I would definitely add to your quick links up there. It's a little white square with a red umbrella, and just attach it. You know what? I use that quick link bar. I take most of the descriptions away, and I just leave the little teeny icons. That's all I need. Hey, Edwin, what's up? Brian, how you guys doing tonight? Well, the 3-Eye Atlas, we've got the usual going on here where they put out pictures we look at the pictures, we see very strange things in the pictures, and then the scientists tell us we don't know what that is, but we're sure it's perfectly normal. Um, I get a little bit tired of the constant poo-pooing and debugging and debunking everything that's out there when it comes to that three-eye atlas, because I'm not saying it's the Battlestar Galactica from a long time ago that's been floating through interstellar space. Okay, I'm not saying that it's some kind of probe. Chances are it's a rock, but let's explore all the possibilities. How come so many scientists can have so many closed minds? I love every time the Mars rover sends back pictures, any of the Mars rovers, the first thing they do is shit all over the pictures. Oh yeah, here's something. Here's a rock that looks like a piece of crumpled up metal. Here's a rock that looks like, and I'm like, could you even, like, for 1 minute just entertain the possibility that it's actually a piece of crumpled up metal? I mean, could that be a possibility? Maybe. Could it be? Oh, there you go, Gator. All right, I'll look for that. There's a launch in 1 hour from Kennedy. Let me see what's going on with that. Yep, the Atlas 5. Atlas 5. It's going up from, from Cape Canaveral. It's going to be SLC 41. Okay, so let's, do we not have a live feed yet? Alright, I'm going to stick this up here just so we don't forget. All right, the upper left up there, that's United Launch Alliance. That's the rocket launch live stream. They should be going live in 27 minutes. So we're going to leave that there so we can see when they go live. And we'll come back to that and we'll watch that live when it happens. Yep, there we go. So, all right, we'll come back to that, guys. We'll come back to that in just a few minutes. All right. So that's a recap, and we do need to keep an eye out tonight for the Northern Lights. Now, it's not. I don't think it's going to be big, but if you're in the northern tier United States, there is another chance tonight that you might get to see the Northern Lights. They had Newport Richey, Florida, had a great shot of the auroras at 29 north. Tucson, Arizona, 32 north. And like I said, El Salvador at 13 north had a great shot of pink auroras in El Salvador. All were visible with the naked eye. Very low. These are very low latitudes for such a display, and they are. You don't normally see them like this. The person in El Salvador that took the picture, he went because it was a quiet, dark night, and he went down to the ocean, and he was trying to record bioluminescence, which is something that's really cool if you can record it, get it on video. You need a camera that works really well in low light, but recording bioluminescence in the water is really cool. No, I don't think so, Billy. I don't think so. These were two sunspots that came around. They rotated around. They faced Earth. They blew up. They shot crap our way. I don't think it had anything to do with 3-eye Atlas. Now, again, unlike the scientists, I have an open mind, but I don't see any evidence of anything like that. But remember, a lot of this, we only see what they let us see, which is another problem. all the images we get from space are controlled mostly by the government, and the ones that aren't controlled by the government are controlled by universities to get their money from the government. So do you see a pattern forming? Unfortunately, we only see what they let us see. Hey, Junior, what's up? What's up, guys? Yeah, Mickey and James, thank you guys for all being here tonight. There you go. Oh, all right. So we got the launch coming up. We're going to be monitoring that. That's in the upper left corner there. We'll be watching that. That's going to go live in 27 minutes. The launch is in about 40 minutes. Yeah, Mickey, I try to. I do a lot of different things. I do, and later tonight, if you guys missed it last night, later tonight, I'm going to go through again the procedure for downloading images, or not downloading, but receiving images from the International Space Station. And let's see where the space station is right now. Yep, it figures we've missed our passes for today. Yeah, it'll be coming over late tonight, early in the morning. But right now, it's out in the middle of the Pacific. People on Hawaii right now could be receiving those images. But it's really cool because you can check when the station's coming over, walk outside with your $20 Baofeng radio and your cell phone with the Robot SSTV app in it, and you can receive pictures directly from the space station with your rubber ducky antenna. It's amazing. You can also do it with an STR RTL. You can do it with a web STL online. You can do it using any receiver or scanner, any radio that you can program to the frequency, and you can receive that. And it sounds like and it actually draws and paints a picture. And it'll be a picture of astronauts or whatever it is. But what's neat about it is you're going to receive it directly from the antenna on the space station, directly to your radio. It doesn't go through NASA. It doesn't go through a third party or a repeater system. There's nothing like that. It doesn't bounce off the ionosphere. It goes directly from the antenna on the space station directly into your radio. So you're actually receiving direct communication from the ISS. It's pretty cool. And I'm going to have links to all that stuff coming up in just a little while. What, Mama? What's wrong, baby girl? Yeah, what I did was I started collecting links to all this stuff this morning so that I could facilitate this better when it came time. So we're going to do that. I did it early in the show last night. We'll do it later tonight. Hey, damn it, Danny, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Glad you came by. They responded to a pet dog on the news. Wonder what that's all about. Mama, what are you doing? You're pain in my ass, you know that? Oh, I think I see the one you're talking about here. Okay, so what happened apparently, a Pennsylvania man who was hospitalized when a shotgun wound to his back says the weapon went off while he was cleaning it because of his dog. It was not your average shooting call for Shellington police. Just after 11 p.m. Tuesday, responding officers found a 53-year-old man with a gunshot wound to his lower back. But it's who the man blames for the shooting that makes the case so unusual. While they're responding, they were informed that the dog had jumped on the bed, causing the shotgun to discharge. which ultimately struck the male in the back, according to the police corporal on scene. Police say the man was cleaning his gun at the time of the accident. He had put his gun on the bed and then sat down on the bed himself, and the dog jumped up there. First thing you do when you clean a gun is you unload it. The last thing you do before you put it back in its safe spot is load it. So I don't understand what happened here, but let's just leave that alone. Safety, guys. The moment you're going to mess with your gun, screw with your gun, play with your gun, practice with your gun, show your friend your gun, masturbate with your gun, whatever you're going to do with it, it has to be unloaded. And that's why I don't understand what happened here. The moment you take that gun, whether it's on the shelf or under the bed or wherever its safe spot is, the moment you remove it from that safe spot, if you're not just moving it to another safe spot or to a carry holster or something, then you need to immediately unload it. And so this was a lapse of judgment on this guy's part, because he was cleaning or messing with or had next to him a gun that was loaded. I have a lot of guns. I'm very careful with them. I'm very big into gun safety, and it's so important. There's just you do nothing with a loaded gun except carry it in a safety holster and use it. That's it. Everything else is done with an unloaded gun. He's not sure. He says he's not sure what stage of cleaning he was in at the time. So it's unsure if the dog's paw may have gotten caught inside the trigger, the safety was off, or if there was some sort of manufacturer malfunction. I doubt. Guns don't just inexplicably go off. When's the last time you heard of one of those, huh? Usually when a gun goes off, it's because there's something in the trigger guard pulling the trigger. Police say the victim's son called 911. The 53-year-old was taken to the hospital, had to undergo surgery for his injuries. Yeah, I'm sure they had to sew his spleen back up or something. And the spent shell casing was found inside the shotgun. Of course, it was a pump gun, so the shell's still going to be inside it. The police stressed the importance of gun ownership taking precautions when handling firearms. We already discussed that. Obviously, you should be treating every weapon as if it's loaded. All the cardinal rules: keeping in safe direction, finger off the trigger, always in your control or in a safety holster or unloaded. Those are the only three conditions it can be in. Police say that the incident appears to be an accident, but they're still investigating. Hopefully they won't charge the dog, because he could do several years for this. All right, so anyway, there we go. And that was from WAFB 9. That's the local channel up there in Baton Rouge. All right. What else is going on? Yeah, guns don't do anything by themselves except sit there. The ones that get me was always the ones where the gun was just laying on the counter and it went off. I'll bet you $1 million that's not what happened, okay? And I don't even have $1 million. That's how sure I am. Daddy, come on, dude. What are you doing? This is not working out with you like right in front of me all the time. What are we gonna do? Can I get you to go over here? There. Let's try that for a little while. All right, so let's do a little reset here. Hello, everybody. My name is Ian. This is Starship Studios, and I am live tonight in North Fort Myers, Florida, where we are broadcasting worldwide on YouTube, the world's largest broadcast platform, and broadcasting over fiber optic. And I got to tell you what's great is by this weekend, I plan to have this studio back up in full operation. As you can see, it is not in full operation right now. It's in about hardly no operation right now. I've been on vacation. I came back from vacation to pumps not working, no water, all kinds of crazy stuff going on. I'm needing to be up where my mom's at 2 or 3, 4 days a week to do stuff there with her, and stuff going on there. So the bottom line is I've just been crazy busy, and I haven't even had a chance. Daddy, you're creeping. Go over there. He creeps. Oh, here he comes. Watch him. Watch him back there. You see him? Here he comes. Da-da. Da-da. Okay, he's going to sit for a minute. He'll start creeping again in just a minute. He loves to creep. Yeah, you know what, Danny? I haven't carried a gun in 10 years. I don't go places where I need guns. I keep my guns locked up in my room. I literally have a little gun, just a little mini gun safe, no big deal. And I keep my guns loaded, but they're locked in that gun safe. And I got the key right where I can get to it. I can get those guns out in 32 seconds. But I've got them locked away, and I've got them safe, but ready to use. And I don't carry them anymore. Because like you, I'm getting klutzier as I get older. I used to go out to the range 2 or 3 times a year shooting. I was very good at it. I was a cop for a while. I always carried a gun everywhere. But the problem is, you can't, as you get older, I just, you know what I do? I don't go places where I need guns. I don't drive around at night. I don't go to bars. I don't do anything. I don't carry guns. I don't deliver pizzas. I don't do anything where I would need to have a firearm. I go to work, I come home, I go storm chasing, I show you guys stuff on the video, but I really don't ever go anywhere or do anything. There's a couple times, like on my trip I just came on, where I was down on the end of this really long road all by myself doing POTA, and this truck full of people show up. I'm at their mercy. I have no gun. I'm sitting there all by myself. They're blocking my way out. I think about stuff like that, being a former cop, having gone through a few things myself and being shot at myself and things like that. I think about stuff like that, but I still believe that for me at this stage of my life, the best thing to do is have the guns ready and just not go anywhere where I might need a gun and just leave it like that. Yeah, damn it. Danny, I'm sorry, Danny, damn it. Danny, I agree. I'm a little bit of a klutz too, and I'll own it. I can hang a ceiling fan, but it's not pretty. But the thing is I don't take the chance. I don't take the chance. And I'm also very careful now. If I pull my gun out to clean it or show somebody, I literally go in there and gently pull it out of the box. And the first thing I do is take that round out of the chamber and eject the thing, and I hand it to them open, just because I'm nervous about it. I don't mess with guns every day like I used to. I used to carry them around on duty, off duty, yeah, there you go. I'll answer to either one. There you go. Super soakers, man, you can put some really caustic shit in there. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. All right. The problem is if you put something really nasty in that super soaker, it melts all the guts in it and it doesn't shoot. I remember a guy at the fire station one night said, I put gasoline in a super soaker. I said, I bet that didn't work out. He goes, no, it quit working. Yeah, I wonder why. Oh, your first Baofeng. That's awesome. If you got the 17, that 17 I showed you, that's right now. That's the cheapest, best all-around radio right now. It's got the beautiful color screen and everything. But yeah, I think you did go with that. And then of course, if you want a bigger radio, the UV25, and I think they've got the UV5RM. The UV5RM. Is a little bit smaller than that 17, and that's a pretty good one too. There you go. I got lots of cats. I don't know what to do about it. All right, if anybody is in the Northwest, the space station is over Oregon right now, moving towards North Dakota. So if there's anybody in the northern tier in Northwest United States, if you've got your frequency up, you might be able to hear the space station anywhere north of San Francisco along the west coast. And then it's going to be moving east up into Canada, where it's going to go up over Niagara Falls and all that up there. And even New England's going to get a little bit of shot on this pass. Remember, they send it down every 2 minutes. So even if you stand there for almost 2 minutes and you don't hear anything, don't get discouraged. Keep it on, keep it ready. It will start. Okay, James. Yeah. If you want to, have you researched DMR? I mean, are you sure that's the direction you want to go? And let me say before I shit all over it that I don't mean to shit all over it. I don't like DMR. I tried to do it. It was a big, horrible mess, and I gave it up. So I don't know, what in the hell? Yeah, I got into it. It took me 25 days to get the code plug to work. That's a nice looking radio, the 32 UV. That's a nice looking radio. That's got the new public safety two-sided look, which I don't really like generally, but it's neat and it's new. A lot of people like it. Hey, Carl. It's a 10 watts, a DMR radio. I mean, it also does, of course, analog, UHF, VHF. Here's my thing with DMR. It took me 25 days and the help of 3 different hams to finally get the code plug to work in my radio. Once I finally got it working, I never could find anybody to talk to on there. I hailed and hailed on our local 2 channel, and I hailed on the statewide channel, and I found it to be useless. After 3 or 4 days of hailing around, I had 1 day left on the 30-day return, and I pulled the trigger. I returned it. I literally put it all back in the plastic and back in the box, and I dropped it off at the pack and ship place and shipped it back. Got my money back. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. It just wasn't my thing. I'd much rather do FT8 and set up for FT8 and JS8 call and an FT4 and do all that kind of stuff. Digital voice doesn't interest me. I've used the Yazoo Fusion. I don't like the sound of it. I've used DMR. I really don't like the sound of that. I think it sounds like shit. And I've also heard D-Star, and I don't like the sound of it. I much prefer analog radio. So I'm just giving you my opinion. Yes, they do make a radio with 220. In fact, they make a tri-band radio. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Here's one for $20. It's a little bit older style though. No, I guess that's not. There's one. Yeah, these have the UHF, VHF, and the 1.25 meter or the 220 band. Well, there you go. Well, James, I mean, it may just be the next thing you want to get into, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, if you just type in tri-band Baofeng, tri-band Baofeng, you'll see they come up. There's $20 ones right there that do all 3 bands, and a lot of them will have they'll come with 2 antennas. one for VHF, UHF, and one for 220. That's because VHF and UHF have a very similar harmonic. But 220 is completely off harmonic. So generally speaking, they can make a radio that'll transmit on that frequency, but you really need a different antenna to really make it work good on that frequency. Another Carl. Yeah. Well, there you go, Deploribus. Yeah, I'm not much on it. I Everybody says it sounds when a lot of people say it sounds better than analog. I'm sorry, I completely disagree. That's what it's. That's what my ear hears. People on DMR, on which is Motorola, like Motorola P25, which is just an advanced version of their DMR, things like that. That's what I hear. I don't know why. Maybe it's me, because other people say they love it, but I don't like it. I just don't like it. So anyway, let me hit this back over here, and let's go check right now on the radar. You can see there in the bottom right corner, we've got the radar going on, and on the radar tonight, not a lot going on. There is some storms coming in through California, and we are starting to see some of the little watch boxes going up here. There's a flash flood discussion out there going on right now. And also there is a slight risk of thunderstorms out there, strong thunderstorms. But you can see there not much going on. A little bit going to roll into right down by the U.S. border down there near San Diego. They're going to have some roll in. But anyway, all this is moving in from the coast, it looks like, and it's going to continue to affect areas. It will dry out as it gets towards Nevada. It always does. All right, so anyway, that's what we've got going on there. And in the upper, we've got some storms up there in Seattle, up in that area, but nothing severe. The only watch boxes we really have right now, we've got red flag warnings for high fire danger out here in the northern plains. And so we're dealing with that. But other than that, that's in Nebraska. And we're dealing with that. But other than that, there's not a whole lot going on weather-wise. There's not a lot of warnings right now or watches or anything. It's very quiet. Very quiet. We've got some scattered showers in the northeast. But that's it, guys. This time of year, we get into winter. Winter time, we'll have long periods where there's not any severe weather. It's not like, remember, tornado season is in the spring. We get into late March, April, May, and even early June. That's tornado season. That's long track season. That's when we start getting the really big tornadoes up in Oklahoma and Kansas, northern Texas, the really bad ones, and that will all start up after we get through the worst part of winter and we start getting towards spring. Yes, I've got several cats in here. I don't think Ed's in here. I've got Mama Bleeper in here. We call her that because she's a mama kitty. She brought her kittens to us. And she also walks around with her tongue hanging out. So we call her Mama Bleeper. And then Daddy Kitty's the big orange one. And the gray one that you see all the time, that's Ed Earl. I've got about 8 or 9 of them that we've rescued here. 2 or 3 of them are kind of feral. I can just barely touch them. But the rest of them are all lovey-dovey. I got 2 boys that are a couple years old inside. They're still too rambunctious and young to let out, so they're indoor right now. And then I've got Ed Earl lives in there with us too, so there's basically 3 of us that live in the bedroom. I got 2 that live out here in the shed right now, and I got a smattering of outdoor ones out there. Point Magoo. Yeah, and we do. That launch should be starting up here any minute now. Let me, thanks for reminding me. Let me restart that and refresh that and make sure that it's working. Yeah, there is no sound coming from it. We'll keep it up. We'll listen to it. I've got my monitor turned up so I can hear if they come on. All right, there we go. All right, so that's on. We're going to watch for that. They're going to be taking that off here in just a few minutes.
3, 2, 1. We have ignition and liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket.
Okay, so they're playing their little promo there. They're getting their, that's their opener. They're getting started to go on there. Here we go.
Viasat 3, Flight 2. I'm Ashkan Mohammadi, and I'm an analysis engineer at United Launch Alliance.
I'm Abby Qatar, a ULA Contamination Control Engineer. We're joining you from ULA Advanced Spaceflight Operations Center here at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida.
And look at our shit-eating grins.
Console at ULA headquarters in Denver, Colorado. Liftoff is scheduled for 10:04 p.m. Eastern at the opening of tonight's 44-minute launch window.
Launch windows vary by mission and are determined by the payload's final destination in space. Tonight's mission is going to a geosynchronous transfer orbit, otherwise known as GTO. We'll be covering the mission through the end of the second burn of the Centaur upper stage, which occurs roughly 27 minutes after liftoff.
For additional real-time mission coverage, follow along with our live blog at ulalaunch.com. And if you enjoy watching our broadcast, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so we're going to have that. And all right, let me pull up another one here. All right. Yeah, I am not traveling for Thanksgiving. My family's here in town. We're going to be able to bring Mom home for Thanksgiving. She'll be able to eat Thanksgiving in her home this year, which is great. We've come a long way, but she's going to be able to come home and eat Thanksgiving at her home. And I'm going to be there, and the whole other side of the family's going to be there, and it should be a good day. We're going to be cooking all the normal stuff. Plus, with my family, they'll be cooking some probably bizarre crap too. Yeah. Let me see how I'm going to do this. All right, just give me a second here. I'm switching things up. They always have to show all their damn ads.
Great technology on board. Pave the way for our upcoming one.
Alright, hold on. Everybody, I'm lining all this up here for when this goes. So we can watch it here on multiple screens. All right. Let's see what we got here.
5-meter diameter payload fairing, which provides protection to the satellite during ascent. After crossing the carbon line, entering space, the payload fairing is jettisoned. With the majority of propellant expended fighting against the force of gravity, the RD-180 engine shuts down and the booster stage separates. The rocket then begins second stage flight, weighing less than 7% of what it did at liftoff. With the first burn complete, the Centaur engine shuts down for a coast phase. ULA's high-performance Centaur then performs 2 additional firings of its RL-10 engine. Together, the 3 burns increase the transfer orbit altitude and reduce the orbital inclination relative to the equator. During the third and final burn, Centaur expends all of its cryogenic propellant, minimizing the time to final orbit for Viasat-3 F2. Following the final shutdown of its main engine, Centaur releases the Viasat-3 F2 satellite into geosynchronous transfer orbit, or GTO, to expand and enhance in-flight connectivity for aviation passengers, exceed performance, security, and resiliency for governments, enhance internet experience on board vessels, and help deliver fast, reliable internet to rural communities.
Okay, guys, I'm still here. We're going to be keeping an eye on this here. This is going to go up here before long. We're looking at about 10 minutes or so. Pull up the info again here to see what it says. "10:04 is when the window opens. It's 9:51 now, so we've got about 13 or 14 minutes.
Time now currently L minus 12 minutes, 12 seconds and counting. Teams are just about 5 minutes away from conducting the final readiness poll. Again, that should begin at roughly L minus 7 minutes.
All right, we are watching.
Once the Viasat-3 F2 spacecraft has been deployed, as we saw in the animation, it will deploy its 8 solar panels, generating over 25 kilowatts of power.
Okay, we are watching the launch of the Atlas V. This is the Viasat-3 EMEA, and it is the being launched from the United Launch Alliance launch pad at Cape Canaveral, SLC-41. And it's going to be launching here in about 11 or 12 minutes. And we are going to carry it live here on multiple screens, as always. So stay with us here for the next few minutes, and we're going to carry this launch live. Okay, this is live continuing coverage, guys, of the launch of the Atlas V. We're going to be watching that here live as this goes up. I'm looking for more information here to give you guys on this. This is the first operational mission of the Starliner spacecraft. So there you go. And there we got a lot of different views of this thing here, as we always do here on Starship Adventures. All right, and this is the launch of the Atlas spacecraft. We're going to be getting that here in just a few minutes. And again, providing it on multiple screens. Bear with me, guys. I'm looking for additional screens that I want to have up when this thing goes.
Will pull the team for the final go to pick up the countdown. The launch conductor manages the launch team during the countdown, ensuring that all systems are performing nominally and that every member of the team is following the procedure and executing per the planned timeline.
28 engineers are pulled to confirm the rocket is ready to proceed. This is the final status check for all Atlas vehicle systems, ground systems, the payload, and the United States Space Force Eastern Range. Let's listen in as he performs the poll.
L-7 minutes. Status check to proceed for terminal and Atlas systems. Propulsion. Go. Hydraulics. Go. Pneumatics. Go. LO2. Go. Water. Go. Centaur systems. Propulsion. Go. Pneumatics. Go. LO2.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
Has gas.
Go.
Electrical systems. Airport. Go. Ground. Go. Facility. Go. RFFTS. Go. Flight control. Go. GCQ. Go. Op support.
Go.
Com. Go. Umbilicals.
Go.
Environmental control systems.
Go.
Once they
Red light
resume
monitor.
that clock
Go.
again.
Quality.
So
Go.
the liftoff
On
time
safety
is set
check.
for
Go.
10
Relay safety officer. Go. Vehicle system engineer.
All right, guys, I've split left and right ear. Split left and right ear. Use headphones if you need
Range
to.
weather. Go.
Yeah,
Launch
so
record.
one of the things that's
You have permission to launch.
the end of replenishment of both the junction
Proceed
on
with
the
the
lower
count.
stages and also liquid hydrogen on the upper stage. They're
Polling
going
is
to
complete
figure that
and the
out.
team is go for
Also
launch.
figuring out all
From
the
now until
details.
liftoff, launch conductor Ed Kidda and the launch team will continue reporting the final steps in today's countdown.
This includes verifying propellant
Teams
levels.
control of the count as well. They're going to be doing a lot of things in those last 4 minutes of the count. You can also think, for example, bringing up the tanks to flight pressure, switching to internal power, etc., etc. There's going to be a whole lot of things going on in those just four last minutes of the count. Hopefully going from L minus to T minus.
And as you just heard,
Exactly. We will wait for that clock to transition over.
into the terminal.
In about 20 seconds
The
from
L
now,
minus clock and the T minus clock are
it's either the fairing device out on
set to
top,
sync up
Atlas 5,
in roughly 1 minute.
5 meter fairing on 551, meaning 5 solid rocket motors as well, and the single RO-10 upper stage engine. At this point,
A sundial
now,
from the clock.
the release from the hole, that will be L minus or T minus, 4 minutes and counting. So that should be the start here of the terminal count sequence. Everything at this point looking good. The clock is indeed rolling.
Yep.
And you can see that venting, everything else you see happening currently normal on the vehicle. So right now it is fully loaded up with the kerosene, RP1, for the first stage, along with the liquid oxygen. The second stage using the liquid oxygen as well as hydrogen for its propellant on the upper stage. Right now, coming up on 3 minutes to go. Everything seems alright so far. Again, we're going to continue to listen in for updates, and we'll provide them to you as we hear them.
We anticipate releasing the hold in just a few
control
moments.
team.
The countdown
Well,
clock
so far
has
it sounds like
resumed, and we are
everything's
go for
proceeding.
launch at 10
Yep, Atlas first stage
04
production
p.m.
and
Eastern.
replenishment
While the
has been
countdown
secured,
continues, let's learn more about how
and,
ULA builds the
they are-
Atlas V
The
rocket.
ground pyrotechnics have been armed to release the vehicle from the launch pad at liftoff. So everything proceeding nominally so far through the final minutes here through that terminal count. Tanks are now pressurizing for flight.
And yep, there we go. Tank pressurization. Also securing all of the propellants on board the vehicle at this point.
We're now
Coming up on 2.5
just about
minutes
L
to go
minus
until
3
launch.
minutes. The L minus clock is synced with the T minus
Everything
clock, which means
proceeding
we are in
as
the final
scheduled up
few
to this
minutes
point.
before the
Obviously, there's lots of
liftoff
small
this
vehicle
Atlas
checks and
5.
things happening internally at this point. The
As you
rocket
can see, actually
monitoring
going
most,
back
if not
into
all of it
the
up to
wide
now.
view here for just a moment, you can see the Orion constellation
Well,
just
of course,
above
if you
and
hear any
slightly to
updates,
the
please
right
chime in.
of the Atlas V
Not hearing
rocket.
anything
This is
that
a
will
mission heading
prevent
to a
still a
geosynchronous
launch
transfer
today. So
orbit, so it will
still
head
everything
pretty
continuing
much
to tick
up and
down.
away
2
from our
minutes.
vantage point
When
here
air's not
at the
enough,
press
there's
site,
Shark
so
Glam, the first
kind
of
of
its kind.
arcing
For ultra-fast,
right
bouncy
about at
blowouts
the
without
shoulder
the
of
frizz.
Orion.
It's not just the brush, it's the glossy. With ceramic heat and air power, my go-to styles stay locked in with all-day shine. Basic blowouts, not
Range continues to be green at this point. The final status check should be coming up about 20 seconds from now, and hopefully that's when we get all of the goes.
Stable at step 3.
There we go, confirmed the range green. Let's listen in for that final status check just a couple seconds from now.
28. Verified ECS reduced for launch.
verified.
25. Status check. Go Atlas. Go Saturn.
Remember, the sync could be up to 1 minute apart on these videos.
15
So,
seconds to go
Just
until
over 2
launch. Of
minutes
course,
to
we will
the
let you
planned
hear
liftoff
the
of this Atlas
sounds
V.
of launch once
all right, here we go.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We have ignition.
There's ignition and lift.
All right, let's light this thing. Here we go.
T-minus 90 seconds. The launch.
Like I said, there's some that will be a little later than others.
Sounds locked.
T-minus 1 minute.
Rocket port range status.
Range green.
Providing launch vehicle ascent data.
Vehicle traveling back up to your full power. Passing 3 miles downrange, approaching 8 miles an altitude. Body rates continue to look normal. Hydraulics look good.
Seem quite
Passing
active.
7 miles downrange.
Coming off there again.
Vehicle's being throttled down, preparation for
At
SUV
this
burnout.
point, putting on quite a show.
At this point in flight, vehicle is now half its original liftoff weight.
So far coming up on solid rocket booster jettison in just about 10 seconds or so from now.
And good indications of burnout on all 5 SUVs. Vehicle throttle back up to full power. Passing 30 miles downrange, 20 miles an altitude. And good indications of SUV jettison on all 5
Ground
SUVs.
track.
Body rate continue to look healthy.
Everything looking
And
good.
parameters look good.
We just heard confirmation of solid rocket booster jettison.
SRBs can burn on the sparkier side, but that was likely ice that was also hitting into a house that seems funny just because of the angle our camera's at, but still dumb, right?
Yeah, I didn't see anything abnormal in that.
That one at 5,000
Seemed very
miles
much
per hour.
like the previous Atlas 5s that we've seen.
Right now, close loop steering and showing good body rates. So everything is steered where it needs to go, turning as it needs to turn. So far, looking straight as an arrow.
And for a little bit. Sorry, continue.
No, you go ahead. Boosters could begin to throttle down, maintain 25 G acceleration, release the payload jettison.
Sort of, heading in one certain direction, things like that. But now
Approaching
that
60
is
miles an
not
altitude,
steering. What it's
reaching
doing is
600 miles
just
per hour.
actually
And
reacting
we
to
got
the
activation of the second stage
instead
RCS
of
system.
just aiming sort of
Hygiene coming up to flight
aimlessly,
ready.
in one particular direction. It's a bit of a difference there in the kind of guidance that they do. Very similar to when, for example, in Charlotte, they also jettison the boosters. But speaking of jettison, we should be coming up with that fairing separation. Oh.
There it is.
And good indications of acceleration.
Yep, if you look
Flight commentator Daniel Brunson just got confirmation of payload fairing jettison.
Go ahead, Mama. He's not going to mess
You
with
can
you.
see, so
Into the mission. Booster engine cutoff is less than a minute
Yep,
away.
pyro valve also opening on the Centaur upper stage. Concealing pressurized
Followed by
reaction
stage
control system.
separation. And then the addition
On first
of
stage, putting out there, fairing and separating, and everything looking good. Atlas 5 now weighing just a quarter of what it weighed at liftoff, 210 miles downrange, 10,000 miles per hour. And we're about
And when you
10
go to
seconds
stage showdown, we have
out
stage
of Nico. He shut down that single RD-180 engine. Yes, the 2-engine bells for this one engine.
yeah. Chin down.
115 kilometers altitude, by the way.
And we're clear to stage showdown.
Booster engine cut off.
And good check.
There we go.
And good check down.
Separation in the addition of the RL-10.
Good indications of center separation. Pre-start on LO2 and LO2.
And here we go. Ignition start. That is RL-10 upper stage engine doing what it's supposed to do. Firing up.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T plus 4 minutes and 52 seconds. We just heard flight commentator Daniel Brunson confirm the successful completion of the early milestones in today's flight, and all systems continue to operate nominally.
We have about 6.5 minutes until we reach our next mission event, shutdown of Centaur's main engine. We'll return with mission commentary as we get closer to that next milestone.
Shutdown of the Centaur upper stage should be at T plus 11 minutes and 35 seconds. And then we'll have a relight approximately 10 minutes later once it is over the equator to do injection to the transfer orbit, the initial transfer orbit. And then there will be another burn about 3 hours later at T plus 3 hours
Just
and 6
6
minutes
minutes
for the
remaining
Viasat
for planned burn.
which will put the Viasat 3 satellite
Alright, yes.
in to its
Vision
final
firing continue.
orbit.
Hydrogen line.
Deployment.
Temps beginning to approach bottle temps.
There we go, and that confirmed at T plus 4 minutes, 49 seconds with the separation there. Again, the vehicle now is 7% of what it weighed at
Still
launch.
seeing
Vehicle
Right
approach
now,
700 miles down.
engine parameters are 28 miles. Going out the body brake, the steering, everything's reporting well with that. Meanwhile, now 1,000 kilometers down range, 210 kilometers altitude, traveling 6 kilometers per second for the AEC. And this is now, just pointing out, still about 4 minutes left in this burn, quite different from what you see with Falcon 9 and the Starlinks. Especially considering that it's also low Earth orbit versus geostationary transfer orbit in this case. Which, for those who don't know, how much of a difference are we talking with altitude for that?
Yeah, so normally on a traditional GTO mission, geosynchronous transfer orbit mission, hey, you can see there an RL-10 nozzle extension glowing. But yeah, in a normal GTO mission, we can expect a oval-shaped trajectory sort of orbit, right? Where the sort of lowest
And
point
we
in
switch
that
over to our
orbit
stage
is
format.
close to low Earth orbit, roughly
Look on.
200 to 300 kilometers in altitude, while the apogee is all the way out there to the stationary orbit, which is roughly 35,000 kilometers, give or take, depending on the satellite size, the type of mission profile, etc. That can change a little bit here and there, but it's roughly
Equals
the
now
typical sort of
1,030
geostationary
miles
transfer
down
orbit.
range.
However,
Right
this
now,
one, it's an
we're
optimized one. Instead of leaving it there, the center upper stage will remain with a payload out there to that apogee, to that highest point in the orbit, which will be a little bit lower than 35,000 kilometers. Instead, will be roughly 23,000 kilometers instead. But it'll do another burn, third burn of that upper stage engine, in order to be able to raise the lowest point
Engine
up to
parameters can look
up
out.
to 11,600 kilometers in altitude, leaving it a lot closer to that final roughly 35,000 kilometer altitude orbit. It's way out there, right? We're talking about this sort of orbit where the period of the orbit
P
is
unit
similar,
off the launch stop.
it's essentially the same as rotation of the Earth, and therefore, if you have an antenna, you just have to point it to one point in the sky, and only that part, it's always going to be there on sunlight, right? Hence geostationary orbit. So that is the difference that we're going to have on this mission, where it's like it's close.
All right, guys.
And
There you go.
hydrogen
There's your. We are look like we are injecting into orbit now, and things are looking pretty good. You're right. Somebody mentioned that the show's not quite as comprehensive as it is with Elon Musk. That's true. Elon Musk is a little more into the theatrics, which I think is actually very important. It's important that space travel remains sexy so that people want to do it. And believe it or not, the media has a lot to do with continued space flights. In fact, the reason we stopped going to the moon is partially because of the media. Literally, by the time they went to the moon the third or fourth time, the media wasn't even breaking into programming anymore. It wasn't that big a deal. Just after 3 or 4 of them, it was no longer that big a deal anymore. And so what ended up happening was one of the reasons we didn't go back, at least that they say one of the reasons we stopped going, was just the fact that the craziness with the media had run out, and that it had already become old hat. And we see that today with news stuff, how quick things become in the news and then how quick they're gone. Yeah, there is 3 Chinese astronauts trapped up there. And yeah, we will probably end up bringing them home, because I don't think they're going to be able to deal with it. But we'll have to see how that goes. Let me go ahead and refresh this because I don't think it's working. Okay, yeah, James, that's it. People lost interest in it, and they moved on to other things. It was almost like, yeah, we beat the Russians, and that's it. It was good enough. Yeah, launches, I've seen a couple fairly close. I've never been right on the Cape, but I've been close enough to feel the concussion, and it's an amazing thing. I'll tell you guys, it's an amazing thing. It's difficult to catch them a lot of times. Years ago, you'd drive over there for a launch, and they would have a window today, and if it doesn't go up, they'd have a window in 2 days, and maybe a window in a week. And it was very difficult to actually get one that would launch while you're sitting there watching it. Nowadays, you can just go get 5 days in a hotel room and you'll probably catch a launch. There's launches all the time, especially in the Cape, and also from Vandenberg in California, and also from Houston. We're getting launches from 3 different areas now. Actually, more than that. And then when you count international, China's got several launch pads, and Russia's launching, and the Obama Deception movie. No, I'm not sure that I've watched that one. I'm gonna confide with you guys. I'll tell you right now, I don't watch political movies at all. I don't watch that many movies. I do like some comedy movies, but if I'm going to watch a movie, it's generally science fiction. I don't do any love stories or dramas or police stories. I'm just not into any of it. I'm just not. So yeah, I don't really remember the Obama Deception movie. I haven't watched any of these political movies. I don't care. I live the politics every day at work. I don't need to go back and watch a movie about shit that I covered 3 years ago or whatever. Yeah, Houston. Yeah, boy, it's something to see. A launch, it's something to feel. You actually can feel it in the air, the little shock waves. It's pretty cool. It's really, it's one hell of an energy release. It's an amazing thing. All right, so what else do we got going on out there? Yeah, let me go see Gator. I'll pull that up now because I think there's a couple things I wanted to look at over there. Oh man, I am so tired. And I gotta get up early again tomorrow. Alright, where did it come up? There it is. Wow, there's a lot more pictures in here. Let's take a look at this stuff real quick. Let's go down through the general tab on the Discord page. Take a little peek here at what we've got. Take a look at this, guys. This is from Athens, Texas. These are from yesterday. Athens, Texas. That was from H. I'm not sure who that is. Skinny X sent this. Was taken from Maine tonight earlier. This was yesterday. And you can see the red coloring up there. Even with the bright lights, you can still see the red coloring. That's pretty cool. And there you go. Look at that. It's amazing. I mean, these lights were visible from all over the place. Those are from, these are from Skinny. Look at that. That's a neat location to photograph at night. Look at that. Beautiful aurora. Skinny, thanks for sending those. I do appreciate it. Right around Veterans Day too. That was awesome. Here we go. N sent these. I don't know why it doesn't show me all the people's names. I don't know, unless they're set to private or something. But anyway, look at these shots he sent us. Some amazing pinks. Look at that. Lots of pink, lots of red. Yep, and the House did vote on that, and the president signed it, and the government shutdown is over. So there you go. All right, let me see. Wow, look at these. This is from Miss Lexi from Utah County, Utah. Look at that. Beautiful picture. Very, very nice. Look at the color. Very nice. That's from Miss Lexi. And we looked at the ones from Murph last night. Yeah, we looked at these last night. Here's Gator. Here's that UFO he was talking about. Wow, look at that. That was a launch. That was definitely a launch. That's something going up. Probably from Houston. You should see a separation here at some point. What do you think, Daddy? I think it's about 90% chance that was a launch. Let's go back and take a look again. It's a little slow for a re-entry. That's why I'm thinking a launch. I would think it's something re-entering the entering or re-entering the atmosphere. However, it's too slow. It's too slow to be producing a fire like that. It wouldn't be going fast enough to have friction with our atmosphere. Hey, Hashana, thank you for being here. Yeah, the Northern Lights never get old, guys. They just never get old. They're only seeing them up around the Arctic right now. We're not seeing... They thought there might be a big storm tonight, but there was a slight chance. It's not happening. I don't think it's going to materialize. Yeah, that's tonight's launch. We showed it go up just a little while ago. You can go back and watch it if you'd like. I leave all my DVR functions and all that turned on so you can run things back if you miss something, or go back and listen to something a second time or whatever.
Separation there. See how it looks distorted?
That looks like the Starfleet Delta right there. Yeah, that's going to definitely be a launch. That's a launch. You just have to go back and see what was launching at that date and time.
We call it the jellyfish. You can see it better on the phone.
Was that tonight's launch? Let's see. It's November 13th. Yeah, at 10:16. So that was tonight's launch. Well, there you go. That's a great shot of it. I thought this was from earlier, so I thought it was from a different launch. But yeah, this is the one we just watched. Well, that's an awesome shot, Gator. That's an awesome shot. You can still see it there going behind the trees right there. That's an amazing shot. There you go. That was a good shot. The only thing that would have made that better is if it had just gotten dark. Maybe if it had gotten dark a little later, the sun would have illuminated the exhaust and it would have made it even cooler. But that's all right. That was a great, yeah, that was great, Gator. Tonight's launch. That was awesome. Yeah, that looked cool. All right, let me just take a quick look here. Yeah, parachute mobile. There you go. I love that. Photos in general. Okay. I think I got everything. I think I went back and looked at everything. I think that's the one we looked at. All right. Let's take a look at that aurorasaurus. I've never heard of this. So yeah, there you go. See, there's not much right now. Well, that's pretty cool, guys. All right, well, I'm adding this to my quiver. I'm going to be adding this right now to the websites that I go through every night because that is a good one. I like that. See, it's not very much right now. All right, let me put this in here. And then I'm going to copy it down to here. There we go. The aurorasaurus. Okay, so that's pretty cool, huh? You guys get that? It's the aurorasaurus. All right. We'll pull up my. Where's it at? Oh, I think this is the one I use. Yeah, there we go. Let's take a quick look at our seismic map and see what's going on. Yes, I'm sure. Not a lot going on. A very, very slow day seismically. Wow. You don't see days like this very often. See, that's what I mean. One thing's really busy, the next thing not so much. What do you think about owning pennies? Well, I can tell you that copper, the value of copper is going up. However, you have to own a whole room full of pennies to be worth anything. you can have one gold coin that's worth $2,000, or you could have, 23 or 25 silver coins that are worth $2,000, or you could have half a room full of pennies that are worth $2,000. Yes, they're just as valuable as gold and silver, but the metal, it doesn't get as much return, a much smaller return, which means it's not really economical to save those. My buddy down there that I work for, that has the gold and silver shop, a guy sold him a bunch of pennies one time, and it was literally 1,000 penny boxes, and it ended up, I don't think it was a good deal for him, because it ended up being a real pain in the ass. Even when I talk about moving, I mean, even to move this stuff, it was a pain in the ass. So copper is worth something. You can actually buy copper bars. You can buy different kinds of aluminum bars. You know how you can buy gold bars? You can buy other kinds of bars too. You can buy palladium bars. You can buy copper bars. You can buy aluminum bars. There's all different, every metal basically, somebody is smelting it into bars that you can collect. And so yeah, you could collect copper bars, 5 pound, 10 pound copper bars. And they're worth money, but you're going to have a lot of these things to be worth a modest amount of money, and they're going to be hard to move. Nobody's going to want them in a end of the world type thing. They're going to want silver or gold. And the truth is that after a short time, that won't be worth anything. The only thing that will be worth anything after a few months is going to be food and water and safety. Those will be the only things that will be worth anything. Yeah, they're no longer making pennies. Should you collect pennies because they're no longer making pennies? No. They're so, in my opinion, and I'm now, you guys, I'm giving you my dumb opinion, okay? And I'm not the gold and silver guy. I could have him on the show one night, maybe. Truthfully, if it was up to me, I wouldn't bother with the pennies. I wouldn't even care. The ones that are old and rare are still going to be old and rare. The ones that are new and plentiful are still going to be new and plentiful. And I don't think that there's going to be, all of a sudden, I don't think pennies are going to be worth a lot of money. I just don't see it, because there's a billion of them out there. There's more of them than any other coin in the world, probably, U.S. pennies. And so at what point would they become rare? 50 years from now, maybe? They would probably be worth something, $1 a piece or something, who knows? Only because they have somewhat gotten rare after 50 years. But no, I don't think it would be something I'd be doing. And yeah, you're right, the modern pennies are not even really copper. Yeah, there's copper in them, but yeah, hush, I've heard about that. Yeah, pre-1982. I think once you get past that, they're all full copper. But you want to look that up, because I'm not the coin guy. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, Harvey, I'm not saying I wouldn't keep some, but I mean, I'm already 56 years old. Okay, if I live 30 more years, pennies will still not be scarce. They won't be used anymore. You won't, like, everything will be rounded, but within the next 5 years, everything will become rounded to the nearest 5 cents. That's going to happen. And of course, that means everything gets rounded up. Nothing's going to get rounded down. You can trust me on that. There you go. A 1944 steel penny. Yeah, I'm not sure about. I like I said, I wouldn't bother owning a bunch of pennies, but that's just me. Who knows if I'm right or not? Um, yeah, I'm just not really. Nah, nah. uh, can I honestly say they needed to do this a while back? It costs 7 or 8 cents to make a penny. It's not worth it. It's not. It costs us money to make pennies, and then we put them out. They're only worth 1 cent, but it costs us 7 or 8 cents to make them, and then we have to deliver them, and then we have to move them, and then we have to. When you start thinking about it, what are we doing? Not worth it at all. Kind of a waste. So anyway, yeah, the seismic. The only thing going on seismically out in the middle of the Atlantic, there was one out there. Really nothing. It was a very quiet day seismically. And of course, we already talked about the space weather that's going on. There is still a slight chance of a G4 class storm tonight. We're in a G1 right now. So I can't imagine it going back up to 4 because I don't think there's that much energy inbound. Yeah, the whole, Canna Club, the whole Mark of the Beast thing. We've had 10 different things happen that are Mark of the Beast. They said when we were all assigned driver's license numbers that it was the Mark of the Beast. They said that when they started issuing social security numbers from DC, they said that that's the Mark of the Beast. And then, when 10 other things that have happened, they've said that's the Mark of the Beast. Now biometrics, that's the Mark of the Beast. I don't know, okay? I'm not a theologian. I'm not going to sit here and try to figure out what the religion's talking about and whether what's happening now. I don't know. But I will tell you that we've been thinking this for a long time. The whole Mark of the Beast is kind of like the end of the world. Everybody believes that there's an end of the world coming. You know what I'm saying? But if you go back and look in time, ever since Jesus walked the earth, people have always felt that they were living in the end times. You can go back, and a majority of people in 2000, a majority of people in 1000, a majority of people in 500 AD, a majority of people believed that we were living in the end times. You can go back 100 years ago. People believed we were living in the end times. That we were all living in what would be the end times of our planet. It's almost the way our brains are set up. That half of us basically live a life looking forward, thinking, there's a real good chance that we'll all die sometime between now and the time I naturally die. It's kind of a weird phenomenon, but it's something that humans have done going all the way back to the Roman days, going all the way back thousands of years. We know that humans felt then that they were at the end times. Every time there was a solar eclipse, it's the end times. Every time the water would run out, it's the end times. But so I'm not saying it's not the Mark of the Beast. All I'm saying is we've been told this a lot, and I don't know when we finally actually get to what is actually the Mark of the Beast, or maybe we've already got that. Maybe the telltale's already here. I personally, if you ask my opinion on what I think the Mark of the Beast is, it's the moment that they impale something into you that electronically marks you. Kind of like we do with our pets. I don't put those in my pets. I have very mixed emotions on them. I have a friend that had a pet get a bad infection where one was inserted years later. I just don't, I'm kind of weary on it. But I also know that people have gotten their animals back because of these things. But I think the moment that they inject you with something, that they can then read. When you go to Arby's, you can scan your arm and pay for your roast beef sandwich. I think at that point, I personally believe that's the mark of the beast, because it becomes part of your body. Now, if you print a barcode on your wrist, that would be the same thing. It's a permanent mark. It's a number on your forehead. To me, that's the mark of the beast. What do you guys think? What do you consider the mark of the beast? Do you think that it's the social security number we already have, or the driver's license number we already have, or the fact that our picture is in a database that can be accessed anywhere in the world? I mean, are those not already the mark of the beast? Is it maybe what's coming next with biometrics and all that? What do you guys think? Yeah, we're working on that here too. They put a little chip in people's brain, and then they're able to learn how to make that chip close contacts. All you need is 6 contacts and you can control a computer. You've got left, right, up, down, left click, right click, and you can completely control a Windows machine with your brain. Now, if you can ever expand that to 35, now you can type with the thing without having to use the directions and all that. I think it's coming. Now, I'm not saying I'm against it or for it, okay? Because I'm actually both. I'm leery of it, but I'm also for it. It's not going in my brain, but I like the studies that's being done. Look, it'd be nice to know if 20 years from now I get in a bad wreck and I get paralyzed. It'd be nice to know they can put this chip into me and I can still work the TV remote. Wouldn't that be nice? So, I mean, I'm not totally against it, but we get back into that mark of the beast territory again. You're connecting my brain to an electronic device. And yeah, that gets scary. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I haven't tried any of those implants or chips or any of that stuff. I'm really not interested. Yeah. The Borg. Resistance is futile.
Resistance is futile.
There you go. Oh my Lord, that's messed up. Did that not go over? No, it didn't. Why? I wonder why. I'll tell you, Windows, the way Windows maps sound, it is just terrible. I really keep hoping that they'll do better. Do better. Alright, let me switch everything back over to D. What I've been having to do every night is go in and switch the audio input from A to D and back to A again. Now if I go in here and switch this to D, now it'll work. Watch.
Resistance is futile.
Yeah, see, now you guys can hear my button bar. It's important to hear the button bar.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
That's right, because knowing is half the battle. All right. Yeah, I never got the jab. Never got the jab. I read early on studies and stuff, and I did not want that mNRA crap in me. I wasn't sure about it, and sure enough, I was correct. It didn't work. They've pretty much ruled now that it was completely 100% ineffective. And there's still people getting the shots. I can't believe it. It's like, dude, that shot's become like political at this point. You realize that. Um, let's see here. Well, Ed, my work had sent something that said that the federal government was mandating that companies over 50 employees require that their workers get shots. As hey Jen, thank you for hitting that subscribe button. I appreciate that. Even though they said it's unconstitutional, they did it anyway. They said, boom, we're going to make your employer, since the judges won't let us make you get the jab, we're going to make your employer make you get the jab, or you're going to be fired. It was completely a violation of the Constitution. And but my work sent me a thing. They waited till the last minute. They were reluctant to do it, but they set a thing out that said they're going to make us do this. And so we're letting you know that you need to bring in proof of the shots. None of us in radio, nobody in radio got the shot. Nobody. So, I mean, literally would have taken us off the air. And of course there was that stay at the last minute because it in fact was unconstitutional. Yeah, they made the hospital people get it. The good news is if you have not had any bad side effects, you probably won't get any at this point. It was mostly a time of delivery injury that people were getting from these. It happened within a few days of them getting the shot. So if you've had it for a while, you're probably okay. It certainly was never worth the risk, I can tell you that. And you knew the risk was high when they told you they weren't keeping those statistics. That's how you know the risk is high. If they ever tell you they're not keeping that set of statistics, the risk is high. It's just kind of the way it works. No, I get it, James. I know a lot of places were like that. Yep. Subdue, yes. It was crazy, especially in the UK. And Australia, they went off the deep end with the whole COVID thing. And come to find out, Florida, we opened right back up after remember the 2 weeks to flatten the curve? By the end of that month, we were back open down here. Our schools were open. Our students did one semester out of school. And after that, we opened them up. And about 80% of the students went back to school. Some stayed home, which was good. It kept some separation. But the truth is, you didn't need all that. The masks here were a suggestion. They were not mandated. The jab was never mandated in Florida. It never got that far. And what happened? You had places like New York and California that completely shut down. They ruined ma and pop businesses. Restaurants died on the vine. Everything in the world, they were shutting everything down. Everything was dying. Their businesses were dying. And to this day, their state and their counties are all in an immense amount of debt and everything else. And you want to know the bottom line? The survival rate for COVID in California was almost the same as Florida. So we literally opened back up almost right away. And we all went back to work. And we just went and did our thing. And the same number of us died from COVID as in the states that were completely shut down for 2 years. So there was never a reason to kill all the ma and pa businesses out there. There was never a reason to hurt all the corporations and to damage all of the businesses out there and all that. There was never a reason to do any of that. It was an overreaction. It was an absolute overreaction. And just like the vaccine was a complete failure, it didn't work at all. Remember, at first it was like 98% efficacy. Really? That's pretty good. 98% efficacy. Well, 80% efficacy. 80%. Yeah. 80. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, 50% efficacy, but it keeps people out of the hospital. It gives you a return to life quicker. Oh, okay. All right. But still, yeah. Well, we don't really know the efficacy number right now. We don't really have a clear number, but we do still think it keeps you out of the hospital. And we do still think it keeps you from dying at such a high rate. Okay. And then they finally came out and says, well, we really can't directly correlate the shot with reduced hospital times, but we still think it prevents fatalities. We kind of think, maybe, that it prevents fatalities, and now they've come out and said they can't even correlate that it's actually prevented fatalities. So, I mean, it was a waste of billions of dollars of our taxpayer money to create this thing on an emergency basis. And this is not political. This was started under Trump. It was finished under Biden. It is what it is. You know, but the point I'm trying to make is the whole warp speed, making the thing, all that money that was spent, and it was all just nothing but a big, huge failure. And it sucks. You could be correct, Cannon Club. They're having a hard time proving that with statistics, though. And I would like to think there's some efficacy, but really, everybody I know that got the jab got it just as much or more than I did, and I never did get the jab. I know 2 people right now that never got the jab and never got the flu. And I also know people that got jabs and secondary jabs and booster jabs and everything else, and they got it 4 or 5 times. So anecdotally, I can't show it, I can't prove it, and the numbers don't bear it out either when we look at the statistics that are coming out. But it's one of those things. I don't know. I don't know if the risk of it at this point is worth what benefit might come from it. Yes, Junior, what I'm saying right now would have had my channel shut down back then. Luckily, they have relaxed on all of that. Luckily, they've returned back to the First Amendment and allowing people to discuss what they want to discuss. Yeah, I've heard that. I've actually spoke to other people that went and did things, bucket list things, while the COVID was going on. I heard that. Canada never got COVID. That's cool. Yeah, I've gotten it 3 times. I got it once when it was in the heat of it early on, and then I had another one about a year later, about 9 months later, and then I had one about 3 months ago. And one of the guys that worked that also had it at the same time that there was like 7 of us that got it. 1 or 2 of them went and got tested and it came back COVID. So I'm pretty sure that the last one I had. But hey, 3 times in what we talking 6 years now. This thing's been out. I'm okay with that. That's not so bad. I will tell you, it's a dolly whopper of a flu, man. Holy shit. It is. It's bad news. I wish there was a vaccine that worked. I really do. I wish that 6 feet, masks, shutdowns, I wish that stuff did work, but it doesn't work. And we can prove that because our state didn't shut down and other states did shut down, and they have the same survival rate we do. So we know the shutdowns didn't do any good. We know the mask mandates didn't do any good. Well, yes, Canna Club, I'm sure I do right now. I believe that your body does hold antibodies for the same strain that you got. And if that same strain comes by again, chances are you won't ever get sick, hopefully. But between the fact that there's different strains, coupled with the fact that I think the immunity that you get only lasts so long, and I think that's so long as 6 months to a year, maybe. I really don't think it lasts that long. Yeah, straight up pneumonia probably would be worse. I agree with you on that. Ivermectin. Lots of people took ivermectin and it did really well. If I had ivermectin, I would have dropped it on my ass the other few months ago when I had it. Yeah, I remember that deploribus. The government would shut down anything they didn't agree with, like churches, but they would allow people to protest, and that was okay. I remember that. Um, that's true, Hush. I think we learned a lot from COVID, and I don't think we're going to get fooled next time. Um,
And knowing is half the battle.
I didn't hit that button. She did. So, if it was the perfect timing. See, that's why she's my co-host. She had the perfect timing on hitting that button. Because now you know. And knowing is half the battle. Yeah, New York, man. They were literally putting people together with sick people to make them sick so they'll all die. Yep, it sure did. And in these blue states, the people that died without their loved ones, the people that went to hospice and their loved ones were never allowed to come see them, and they died. Loved ones looking through windows from outside the nursing home, waving at grandma on her birthday, and all that stupid shit that went on during COVID. I gotta tell you guys, I'm embarrassed to be a human with some of that stupid shit that went on during COVID. Ventilation. There now. Look, I'm not one of these people that there was no such thing as. No, COVID was bad, dude. It was bad. It killed people. Of course, so did the vaccine, but we don't really have hard numbers on that. But the point is COVID killed a lot of people. It was bad, and yes, ventilation was really important. I do believe that keeping people separated in separate rooms protected a lot of people. If your loved one has it, keep them in their bedroom, serve them food at the door, and don't share the same pocket of air with them. Make the air go through the air conditioner first, and that way you can't possibly get it. I think it's important that that we understand that this was a real phenomenon, and it really hurt a lot of people. The first time it got a hold of me, I was out of work for 2 weeks, and I do not ever call out of work unless I'm viral. And that was the worst sickness I've probably ever had in my life. It was really, really bad. I lost a lot of the taste in my tongue. My stomach shrunk up. I dumped about 40 pounds of weight. You should have seen me. I look like a skeleton. It was, well, maybe not quite that bad. I can lose 40 pounds and not look like a skeleton. But anyway, I was pretty thin. And I just, yeah, it was pretty bad. But yeah, you're right, Canna Club. We already lose tens of thousands of people every year to the flu virus. And this is just another flu virus. Yeah. No, I agree, Canna Club. I agree. But I'm also, they kept talking about how susceptible the children were. Come to find out, I think the children were pretty resilient. It was the old people that were really susceptible. They were just dying on the vine. I mean, they were dying by the hundreds. They were dying. They were lining up hearses in front of these places and picking them up like so much laundry. And it was the old folks. The students did pretty good. We opened our schools up down here after just 4 months. And they did protocols. They checked the kids' temperatures when they got to school. They did all the usual shit. And it seemed to work pretty good down here. So while other places were on homeschooling for 2 years, every year that we were on homeschooling or they weren't going to class, we lost a half a year of education. And those kids will never get that back. They're not going to make up that year. And so you're literally going to have a generation that's going to be just a little more ignorant, just a little more stupid, whatever you want to call it, because of this. And it's a fact. You call it whatever you want, but it's there. Yeah, Canna Club, I believe there's something to that. If you raise a child in a sterile environment, they'll be sick their whole life. These kids that go out and play in the ditch, and they pretty much do whatever they want. They rub dirt in the wounds. They tend to toughen up and tend to not be near as sick later in life. There is truth to that phenomenon. Yeah, China lost. I actually believe China let this go on. They used it as a reason to kill all the dogs. They used it as a reason to kill all the cats. And then they were using it for a reason to take humans away, and they all mysteriously died too. And I think they did some cleansing in China. I think they used this to get rid of a certain percentage of their living population of both human pets and humans. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, they were making those emergency ventilators and all that. We never really got into it that bad. Yeah. Yeah, they had some of our factories start making extra ventilators because we thought it was going to be a problem. Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, look, there's nothing good about being on a ventilator other than you're not dead. The only good thing about being on a ventilator is you're not dead yet, and there's still some hope. Just being on a ventilator is not good on your body, and like you said, it brings infection, pneumonia. It also robs your body of its own ability to breathe and things like that it make it even more difficult to recover later. Yeah, pooling of secretions is never a good thing. That's true. All right, Gator, have a good one. They had their Vax card laminated. Yeah, I worked with a few of those Karens too. Good night, Gator. Oh man, I gotta tell you, it was funny. Oh boy. All right, guys, I'm at 2 hours. I'm gonna do the last call in the chat room. Last call in the chat room. Let me know if there's anything you want me to mention or bring up or show you real quick before I, myself and Daddy Kitty and Mama Bleep and Ed Earl sign off here in Starship Studios. Woo! Man, it's been a long day. I've had the week from hell, guys. Working morning shifts, covering doubles, plus doing this show at night. I've just been, and my pumps quit working. I've got all kinds of issues I'm dealing with. And I'm working with family and things with transportation and stuff. So there's a lot going on right now in my life. Hopefully this weekend I can get caught up. Hopefully I can get things caught up this weekend and get this studio back up, get all my backup feeds going on Starship After Dark again, and get all that going. Subdue Light, thanks for coming in tonight. Eyes on Heaven, thanks for coming in. We are on every night at 9 p.m. I do about 2 hours. I'll go as long as the breaking news continues. And every now and then I go a little shorter. I take the night off. But for most part, I'm here just about every night, right here at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the show. It's a multi-screen format. And we try to provide something unique for you guys, you know. Some nights we cover police actions. It all depends on what's going on. If there's a pursuit, we cover it. My guys, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of my mods and stuff, they keep an eye out for breaking news and let me know, because I'm here by myself. I can't be completely looking over here while I'm talking to you guys. So it's up to everybody to help me know when there's breaking news. And if there's a link you need to get me, throw it in the general tab on the Discord page. That's the best way to do that. All right, and It's 4 a.m. in the UK. Yeah, Junior, I think we're there. I do. I was actually, you're not going to believe me, but I was actually thinking that earlier, about 20 minutes ago. So yeah, that's not a problem. It's done deal. Done deal. Gator, welcome aboard, one of our mods. Thank you. All right, guys. That's what I've got for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Once you're here for a month or two, and we get to know you, we get to see you in a lot. I'll give you the wrench. We'll do the mod thing. Eventually, I'll even make you a mod over on Discord. And I'm working on programs right now, guys, where you guys can become more involved in the Starship operation, if you will. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. It just takes time to figure out how you're going to administrate it, and then to administrate it. It's not an easy process, but I don't want to come up with something stupid that doesn't work. But I want to come up with a way that you guys can work your way up and get to the point where you're taking an actual part in the broadcast every night. There's a lot you guys can do from right there in your home to be an active part of the broadcast, including I can even bring you guys in on Zoom. I can bring in as many people as I want on Zoom and put them in the little boxes there, just like everybody else. So it's kind of cool, and we'll be able to do that. Also, I've decided I've got a huge check coming from YouTube, and I'm buying a broadcast laptop and a laptop stand and bracket for the car, so that I can do full broadcasts from my car. And I'm keeping the jetpack turned on, so I'm keeping all this capability because I'm going to be doing every weekend. I'm going to try to do some adventure in the car with you guys, as well as this 9 o'clock show. All right, Canna. Well, listen, I can help you if you need your license. I can steer you in the right direction. Go back on my channel and search for anything you want to know about. I have been doing this. You've got 1,000 videos to choose from on there. Yeah, and remember, the International Space Station is sending down images over the next week, okay? And you can track the International Space Station. I'm going to put these links in. If anybody didn't get them last night, that's how you track the station. And then if you want the web SDR is right there. I put little titles on these to make them easier. But these are all the links from last night. I had somebody ask me for them again earlier. I want to go ahead and make sure that you guys have all of these links. These are from last night. I want you guys to be able to listen to and decode these SSTV signals coming directly from the space station, and you can actually download them with your radio. If you want to know what to do with these links, go to last night's show. It was only a 90-minute show, so you'll be able to find in there about half the show. I'm talking about this process right here of going back with these links that I just gave you all the links to. There you go. And there's the only other website you need is ARIS. Let me get that for you. ARIS is amateur radio on the ISS. ARISS. And that one, what's great about this one is it tells you everything that's going on with the International Space Station as it refers to amateur radio. And so I'm going to give you that one too. I did not give you that one last night. There you go. Yes, they do. They do. As a matter of fact, Russians get along with us in amateur radio. I've talked to Russians just in the last 6 months. I've spoke to Russians. I've also spoke to someone in Ukraine about 9 months ago. And we don't have that kind of animosity on the radio. I don't care who's at war with who. I talk to whoever wants to talk, and yeah, it's kind of weird, but I look at them as other ham radio operators, not commie Ruskies or something. So that's just how I look at it. And yeah, I've heard that they get along great up there. They're all professionals. Look, by the time you get so good at your job, you are one of the top 1% smartest people in the world, right? And you're a professional, you're an astronaut. Nothing means more to you than being able to go back to space again. Trust me, these people love each other up there. They're professional geeks. They get along wonderfully up there. You would never know that they're pissing down below with bullets and guns up there. It's just not like that up there. I've never heard of issues or animosities up there, so that's a good thing. Yeah, most Russian citizens are just like us, folks. They're just the place is being run by pricks, and they've lost control of it. We can't lose control of our country like they've lost control of theirs. We've copied a lot of their military tech, and they've copied a vast majority of our military tech. The hole in the ISS, yeah, I do vaguely remember that. Yes. Yes. There's not a lot of spying on the space station because everything that goes on there is public domain. But there's a lot of space-borne or space-operated equipment that is being used every day for spying. Oh, Christ, a lot of it. You better believe it. Oh, yeah. NASA hired a lot of Germans. They hired Russians. They've hired anybody that will come over and work for them that are rocket scientists. Sure, we've copied everybody, and no one has done more copying than everybody copying us. I can tell you that right now. Our military secrets, our industrial secrets have been copied more by other countries than any other country. We have more stuff gets stolen than you could shake a stick at. But it's the nature of the beast. And the Germans were actively copying us too. Trust me, it was going on both ways. We were building a bomb, they were building a bomb. Just glad it worked out the way it did. All right, that's it, guys. I'm going to call it a night. I hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. A little slow out there, but we still had a great crowd in tonight. Lots of numbers, lots of folks. I do appreciate that. Lots of cats. Would you stop? All right. All right, everybody, live from Starship Studios in Southwest Florida. My name's Ian. This is Starship Adventures, and this has been the Sights and Sounds of Earth. Please give us a thumbs up in there if you haven't done it yet, and obviously a subscribe, and you can leave a comment. That always helps the algorithms as well. And I just want to put it out there, if you want to help, the best way to help our algorithms is to put on one of our old videos and just let it sit and play overnight. Other than that, I guess that's about it, guys. Thanks everybody for coming in. Don't forget on this channel to hit the notification bell, and don't forget to hit subscribe over on Starship After Dark, although don't worry about the notification bell over there. It'll just drive you nuts. All right, I guess that's about it. Victor, you're welcome. I love doing it. Oh yeah, Russia was definitely an ally with us in the in World War II for sure, and thank God they were there. They actually beat us to Berlin. All right, yeah. Good night, everybody. All right, live from Southwest Florida. My name's Ian. This has been the Sights and Sounds of Earth on Starship Adventures. Everybody, have a great night out there and a safe tomorrow. And I'll see you back here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. And then I am going to be doing some adventure broadcasting on Saturday or Sunday. I'm not sure which day yet. Probably Sunday. I'm doing some parks down here in Florida for Parks on the Air. And so we're going to be doing some stuff with that. So I hope to see you then. And also, we'll be here. If something big's happening, we'll probably be here. Check it out. We'll see you guys next time. 7-3s, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night, 9 p.m.